This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. On a Thursday morning, you're tuned into the Smooth Breakfast. Yes, Ayokunmi right here, taking you on a journey into your Thursday workday. And of course, at this time, we get to talk about all the entertainment stories, all the gist making the rounds, what your faves, my faves, our faves are up to, what's going on in movies, in music as well. And basically, we just get to gist and have a great time having good conversation. Welcome along to the Grapevine on a Thursday morning. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:15. That is what we do. And talking about we, yes, I'm not doing this alone. I've got my main men in the building, well, virtually, but still they're here in the spirit. Oris and, of course, James Silas on Thursday. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Oris. Good morning, everybody. I was just about to rant now. The Grapevine is supposed to start from 8:15, and you all just put your advert for like what? Almost 20 minutes on a show of man, 30 minutes actually. Look,
Bear with us, James. Bear with us,
I'm
James. I
I'm
mean,
so I'm so I'm so angry right now.
send your account details, James. Calm down. Send your account details.
That sounds nice.
Account details. He says that sounds nice. This man. Oris, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Mr. Ayo. Why does this feel like it's been a while? That's because somebody used to show up to the studio yesterday, last week, I believe.
Well,
But yeah, we are
well,
back.
well, it is someone who is 100% that can do that. But I'm thankful for life, and I'm here today. You should be happy. You should be happy.
In
All
fact, I'm just
right.
happy. I am grateful.
I'm grateful for having you guys in as well. I appreciate you coming through every Thursday. For all our listeners out there, you can join us on the conversation this morning by sending your messages to us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 You can also join us on YouTube. We're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can drop your comments there as well. Okay, let's jump into things, Oris, straight up. And I actually want to talk about Femi Adebayo's Seven Doors. It has been all over the place, critical acclaim here and there. His latest movie, titled Seven Doors, dropped, and it has, I think it dropped on Netflix on Friday, last Friday or thereabouts. It's been, garnering a commendation. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to imagine that you probably have, or you've seen snippets here and there. And for a body of work like this to be getting a lot of positive reviews and all, so far I haven't seen any negative reviews on that project. But what are your thoughts on it, on what Femi Adebayo has done on this one? Doris?
Um, I think some of the reviews are correct, but I also feel like what is also happening is a form of low expectations. I think generally speaking, the Yoruba epic movies have been. I mean, I don't think I should sugarcoat it. Terrible, frankly. A lot of them have really
Hmm.
been terrible. I do not think I can't think of anyone that I would say, hey, this was like a great movie. In fact, forget great, just good. So I think what Femi Adebayo has done is to clear those low expectations, at least initially. I wasn't particularly impressed with, I think, with the first two episodes, I think, yeah. Yeah, either the first one, the very first one actually. I felt there was a little too much going on that didn't need to. They could have cut 20 minutes away from the first episode and the series could then begin. But I saw a part of my head, I'm always thinking when I see some of these series on streaming platforms that what is happening there is somebody has a minimum amount of hours of content to deliver, and he or
Hmm.
she is doing so in the most ridiculous way possible. So again, I think of all of them that I've seen, the best of them, and that wasn't even on a streaming platform. That one came to the cinemas at the time, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It's a film called I guess they call it, which also has Femi Adebayo, King of Thieves. The rest of them,
Right,
House
right.
of House of Gar, what's the other one? Lisa B, which is just terrible actually from a few months ago. Jagu Jagu, which kind of missed his way in the final third. What else? Anyway, I've seen all of them, and believe me, all of them are terrible. So in my own head, when I'm ranking them now, I put King of Thieves is still the best one because that was if that film did not do well in the cinemas, I don't think would have gone into this run of epic movies. So that's still number one. And then underneath it, you now have Seven Doors. So that's the ranking. The rest of them are really terrible movies. So yeah, I get the reviews, but what is happening is just okay. Out of a rotten bunch, we have seen at least one that seems a little worthy. So that's what I believe is happening.
All right, James, do you have any thoughts on this particular one? I mean, looking at what Oris has said, that a lot of those movies have, according to him, have been terrible. I mean, for one movie to be terrible or to be bad is one thing, but then to have a series of movies that are not up to par, at least in that particular genre, what exactly have they been doing wrong that they can be doing to make these movies a whole lot better?
Okay, so I mean, when Ori says the movies have been terrible, sometimes I want to understand from what perspective. Is it from um the filming itself? Is it the directing? Is it the storyline? Is it the I mean, there are some funny effects that I see as well when I watch some of these things. Um, so sometimes I want to know what's exactly what you know.
Okay, let me put in now. I mean, just to answer that. So I think yes, definitely one of the biggest problems with all of them are the visual effects. For films that one assumes has Oyibo people money on this level, the visual effects still looks like it's still from the 1990s Nollywood movies, which is just horrible. Which reminds me of what Basketmouth said recently about producers who get a certain amount of money and then use a chunk of it to go and buy houses and buy cars and put little little of it into the movies. A movie like Lisa B, for instance, the visual effects were so poor that I was shocked to myself. Like, I don't understand how Netflix approved something like that. So yes, there's a visual effects problem, but it's also a basic storytelling problem. So the way I
Mm.
gauge this movie is what is supposed to be, what are you trying to achieve? And did you achieve it? You understand? And again, if in trying to say what you're trying to achieve, is it even the best thing that's possible to achieve? These movies fail in all of these regards. So I think the one thing they probably do well is the basic acting, but everything else is terrible. So that's what I mean, just to state that.
Yeah, awesome. So I think to round up with what also said, I think my own challenge again with especially with the Yoruba movies, and this is no, just saying my opinion, is that they need to actually give a chance to more of their new actors. I see that a lot of them are even moving to, YouTube because they
YouTube,
probably
yeah.
are not getting as much roles. But if you look at the cast every other time, you see the same people, like the usual suspects. You know, I feel like I don't know how many years we have when it comes to the film industry in terms of the actors and everything. But I feel like it's time to start breeding newer actors, and so that we are not always seeing the same names back to back for for so long. Some of these actors that have been here for over 20, 30 years, do you understand? And we still see them in movies. So sometimes it doesn't give me that even, I'll be like, okay, hey, the same people. Nothing in terms of, even with characterization and everything, the same personality, the same thing that they bring on stage, on the screen every other time. So I feel like they need to expand or give more people a chance.
All right, thank you for sharing those thoughts. Now let's talk about Bovi, because I know before we came on, I was asking I was asking you, James, that did you break any TVs when you were young? And of course, you gave me a very Nigerian answer. But anyways, a Nigerian comedian and actor Bovi has revealed that his son breaks the television when angry, even as he advocated for gentle parenting. Now there was a backstory to what he actually said. Now he disclosed this while speaking in an interview on the Honest Bunch podcast. Now, he stated that he doesn't support parents beating their children, using his parenting skills as an example. Now, according to him, his son actually got to a stage where he began to feel remorseful and did not break things anymore. So he said that he didn't advocate for children, that one should let children be. Now, he mentioned that that the child in question had a learning disability, so there was that. But a lot of people did not take too kindly to that assertion that breaking TV, because he said what he said was his son used to break TVs for the fun of it, more or less. And I guess that's add on for the fun of it was what got people very, very riled about how would you say something like that? Why would you let a child do this and do that? He then added the caveat that, okay, his child had a learning disability. And of course, that was, I guess, one way for him to let out the rage or his feelings that he couldn't express properly. But it's this whole issue of gentle parenting and all that. There's no one size fits all when it comes to this. I know that. But from what we've been seeing
How do you know
lately,
that?
this
Do you
and
have a
all that,
child, please? How do you know this? Say I know that. How do you know this, please, Ayo?
I know people that have kids. I read,
You have kids.
I see stuff.
We don't believe you, but okay, keep going.
You know what? You know what? James, just please hold on to
Yeah.
that thought. Let's take a
All
quick
right.
break. When we come back here, Oris, you're trying to get me in trouble this morning. I will not allow you. Keep it to the grapevine on Smooth 98.1. Man, let me drink water. Go on.
All right.
Look at Ayo forming family man. Oh. You will know for street.
I'm a family man in my own right. You cannot tell me nothing.
That's scam now. Just say this guy. What exactly is Ayo saying? Please shift.
Is that not cool?
No mind Oris now. You don't rate me now. Why?
If you never born a Peking, please let us hear what.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
There's nothing to blame now.
Right,
Blame your
welcome back
girlfriend.
to the Grapevine on a Thursday morning on Smooth 98.1. You love music, love live station, we love gist as well. And that's what we do on the Grapevine. Take a look at the entertainment stories and, of course, get into a world of conversation. If you're just tuning in, welcome along to the journey with us. So you can be a part of the Grapevine by sending your thoughts in to us on WhatsApp on 0809 440 981. 0809 440 981. That is the WhatsApp number. We're also on YouTube. We're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can also drop your comments there, and we will be taking them as we get along. Oris and, of course, James Silas are still in with me this morning.
Absolutely.
All right,
So go back
James,
to
so
Bobby,
back to
right?
what we're talking about. Bovie
Yeah.
and, of course, this controversy over his comments on parenting.
Yes. So, first of all, I want to just touch a few. I think we should just correct a few things. When he said the sun breaks, used to break. If you go down the story, if you watched, the child doesn't, do that anymore. And I mean, not so much of a child anymore. The child is now, I mean, the said son is, growing up fast or grown up and doesn't do that anymore. So he used to. Also, he didn't really say he was slow to learn. It was more of slow to speak. Is that not the same child that learned um Russia by watching YouTube around when he was 5? You understand what I'm saying? So it's not particularly so sometimes the story, just to make it really, really sweet, I feel like they pad it here and there, but what he actually said was the child was slow to speak, not necessarily slow to learn. And back to the situation, breaking TV, when the child was breaking TV and stuff. And you asked me this morning that, oh, did I? And I just say that how? Because already you already how you say you I don't think I can't even remember myself getting angry. Say, I'm upset, and then and my dad's upset. Oh wow, I didn't even have a right to be upset. You know, our dad or our parents were the law. For me, it was my dad. He was the law. So who am I to be say break TV? Break what? So but now I mean me I'm a father now. All right. And looking back, of course it's funny. It can pass. I think I've dealt with all of those childhood in quotes trauma, and I don't think that's actually right now to because if looking back that again I've had some interesting conversations this week, even when it comes to parenting and going by what I watched on The
Okay.
Honest Bunch, and I realized and actually agree that a lot of the violences we have today in homes may have been from those childhood trauma because we're shown or taught that when we upset our parents or we upset somebody, the next action should be maybe a slap or flogging. And in quote, it becomes that's violence, no matter how you even look at it. I mean, some people say it's discipline. No, it's discipline. But yeah, I mean, we get it. But the child that you're talking about now grows up with all of these things bottled inside, and he thinks that if somebody upset him in school, the next thing you should do is punch the person. Do you understand? Or slap the person. And it goes on and on like that, even till you get into relationships and then even to marriage and so on. So you just think that because it's not just about the relation or your reaction to to children, it's also about reaction to people and things that happen around you. So I feel like those people still grow up to become violent in one way or the other. And why? Because you're upset or because you're angry about what the other person has done. So I feel like yes, you might just have to devise. And like you said earlier, there's no there's no black and white rule when it comes to parenting. It's actually it comes per person or per head or per experience. Do you understand? And I
Right.
really feel like personally, I don't I don't flog my kids. Do you understand? I don't. But there's a way I'll talk to you. You just know that the next move I make, I might get it. But interestingly, it just doesn't. I mean, but it hasn't gotten to that point, and I've actually taken time from the zero age, so to speak, to start already talking about how you must behave. Oh, you must always do this. You must always do that. And I just see even my daughter always trying to impress me. And I also think that has its own downside as well. But I mean, maybe when we get to that bridge, we'll deal with it. But I'm also always trying to correct a lot of things and try to put it, just be yourself and express yourself how you want to. However, respect other people because there are some things you can do or say that will, hurt or upset them as well. So, and you really don't want to do that. Just saying,
Right.
basically.
I get you. Uncle Oris, do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
share these sentiments?
I think James actually has hit the nail on the head. There's a sense in which we believe that, and I think it comes from, as James has said, parenting, that violence is a solution to a lot of issues, even as adults. And I think the roots of that goes back to how we were corrected or how certain things were supposedly right only when somebody inflicted some kind of violence. So indeed, as James has said again, somebody annoys you or somebody, I don't know, pisses you off in a way that in the way you saw it done at home, and your response is the exact same way they responded to you two at home. When you think about it, if we are so effective, if our method of parenting, this violent corporal punishment is so effective, why are we not a particularly successful people? I mean, in terms of like the country, you understand? Because of course, the family is the basic unit of every society. So if our methods are incredibly good, why are we such a corrupt country? So these are some of the questions that I think we need to ask ourselves and say, hey, these methods that we were raised with, that we believe that is the only way things happen, is it actually correct? And I feel like when you think about it critically, the fact of the matter is that not really. There's no reason for us to be so corrupt if our methods work effectively when we were kids. You understand? That's why I think that James has the answers. This one time I give James credit. He does have the answers.
Whatever,
And
man.
Bobby, so of course I understand, and there's something Bobby said again, which probably pissed people off as well because of the fact of poverty. He said something about how his kids, I think, broke 3 TVs. And if parents are beating their kids, are they really trying to correct the kids, or are they just taking out a basic frustration from the kids? And I think that's a very good point to make, actually, because a kid whose father works a printing press and his father brings home, I don't know, tons and tons and tons of paper, if the kid squeezes one of those papers or burns one of those papers, I doubt very much that the child is going to get beaten over that. The problem is you have just 1,000 naira and you've gone to broke a TV that costs about 300. That's almost 1/3 of the man's salary. You understand? So so Bob is also right. There's a sense in which that is kind of where some of those corporal punishments came from. The fact of the parents understanding that this is going to take too much for us to replace. Let us just inflict this frustration via violence on this erring kid. I don't think it's super effective. And I think, yes, a lot of the time, parents or adults are working through their own personal issues when they inflict violence on their kids. So, James and Bovi, 10 points each.
All right.
This guy's funny.
That's that's some Harry Potter level stuff right there. All right. Let me take a message here. An interesting one that came in from Victor Show. Now he says the Yoruba movies are still head and shoulders above other ethnic movies in Nigeria. Can they surpass Nollywood and Bollywood standards? Yes, epic movie productions are more difficult than soap operas. Okay.
Uh-huh. Who is this
Okay.
person? Please, I want to say the person that Yoruba name. What's the name?
It's a message from Victor Show.
Victor Sheon. Of course, say you see, because now I can only perceive that thing through the tribal lens as to why he's saying that. Anyway, like I said, those movies have getting so much money, and it's a shame that none of them has been particularly great. So kudos to Femi Adebayo, who is probably the one person I see who tries with each project to get better. I think there's still a lot of problems as concerning Nollywood sensibility. People just don't know enough, so they don't do well. So they can't do enough because they don't know enough when it comes to their movies. But like I said, credit to Femi Adebayo for at least raising the standard. Even just a little, it was like a fragment, a little bit. So that's good.
A win is a win. A win is a win. At the end of the day, Tayo says, Oris with the pin to burst someone's balloon. It's not my balloon, he's bursting anyway. He then says, other parents correct their children's excesses despite their disadvantage without breaking TVs. Perhaps Bobby is still joking. And he says, Daddy Jame Silas is clapping for you. All right. Happy festivities to you too. To you too as well. Tayo. Then AY Fominuru says, that poverty angle is very valid. However, correcting children with love and instilling values of discipline should always be paramount as a parent. All right. Thank you for sharing those thoughts. Anyway, let's talk about some music. And of course, the RIAA are in the news. Now, Beyonce has become the most certified artist of all time by the Recording Industry Association of America. That's the RIAA. She earned the most RIAA certified titles of all time by a female artist after a couple of her songs recently received certifications, bringing her total to 103. But that's not even what drew me to this. I looked at things from the Nigerian perspective. Now, in the ranking of the best-selling Nigerian artists in the US, CK leads the contingent with over 8 million units sold thanks to his viral hit single, Love Wantiti, which blew up on TikTok in 2021. Frankly, I was surprised that that was the #1 song. I mean, in that regard. Now, the song is also the most certified Nigerian song in the US with over 8 million units sold, which puts it in a prime position to be Afrobeat's first diamond record. Now, Wizkid is second on the list after his top 10 single, Essence, that featured Thames and Justin Bieber, sold over 4 million units. Now, Wizkid is also the most certified Nigerian artist in the US with 8 certifications. I'm not too surprised by that one. Rema is third, the third highest selling Nigerian artist in the US with over 5 million units sold, thanks to the success of Calm Down, which has been declared 6 times RIAA platinum. I was thinking maybe that'll probably be somewhere higher, but I mean, third is not bad. But you know, CK being at the top, I didn't think that would be the case, James.
Whoa, bro! 2021. So first of all, don't forget that the song was released earlier. I think maybe around 2019 or something, and then was revived, around the pandemic
and it was
time.
viral.
And it was not just, medium level viral. It was monstrously viral. I think it was also about the same time where TikTok began to pick up globally. Do you understand? So it did very well. I mean, when you talk about one song that can take care of you for a very long time, that's kind of song. And then Rema's own was from around that, I think it was the World Cup that sort of spiked Rema's Calm Down. I think it was the World Cup.
Selena Gomez now, James, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, that one still came. Yes, absolutely. I'm just talking about apart from having that collaboration on top of it, the collaboration or the remix. Even the song itself was already big. Don't forget that it was already a monster hit already, even before Selena Gomez came in. Yes, the Selena Gomez effect was there as well. But I mean, talk about the platform where it now was showcased and played on again. World Cup, it was played like this was the whole world watching, soccer and watching the game, and the song came up during the halftime and the same. So it made it a very, very big song, because one of the things that happens when it comes to our music here is curiosity of who is this? What song is playing? And then the places that sort of pick it up eventually, sort of helps the song, even when it comes to. But of course, we have to give credit to Selena Gomez. That remix sort of changed everything because ordinarily, I don't know, the song was big, like I said, maybe Africa level, but when we now had that Selena Gomez remix, it just sort of and Selena Gomez, if I say it in Yoruba, Selena Gomez will carry now. She's not small, you know.
Actually,
So, but
personally, I prefer the remix to
yeah,
the original. Personally, that's me.
yeah, me too. I do. So, but apart from that one, I mean, talk about Wizkid. Wizkid, in fact, I think that the ranking is fair enough because we're talking about this. I mean, certain singles is fair enough because sometimes I would have looked at it and said, okay, I was expecting that maybe somewhere along the line. But I mean, I've not seen the full list that Davido would have been there. Burna Boy too would have been there. You know, maybe
So
Thames. But as it is, these guys that we're talking about for these songs that we are actually picking out did monstrously well, and I think that yes, they deserve to be there.
yeah, so that probably explains why I don't know. I guess the Davido fans or Wizkid fans can whatever happens to them online. Fact of the matter
Yeah.
is this: I've said it over the past few years that Davido doesn't have a crossover hit. So when it comes to international level of comparisons, he just falls below at least the big three. You understand? I think that even as Burna Boy is not in maybe a single song, but I think cumulatively he probably ranks highest or something. I'm almost certain about that. So Burna Boy would have his spot there. David, on the other hand, doesn't really, and so that's why I feel okay. Sometimes I understand why he's angling for the song with Angelique Kidjo, hoping to get a Grammy out of that. Because at the end of the day, if these people are going to be compared, and they will always be compared for the rest of their lives, the three of them, it's going to be the case that internationally, it is Wizkid has a say there only because of that one song called Essence. Good enough for him. Burna Boy has had a series of songs that have worked abroad, maybe about 3 or 4 songs that have kind of worked internationally. Davido doesn't have a single one. I remember that the closest they came to it was with If, but even that was just like a very minor hit in the US.
Okay, Oris, we actually need to go. But before we do that, I need to just get your thoughts on this one. I mean, spitballing here. What would David actually need to do to get that crossover hit? What is missing that he needs to do to get that hit? What do you think?
I think Davido has kind of misused. I mean, sorry to use the word, but has kind of misused his opportunities in the past. He needs a Selena Gomez. He needs a Justin Bieber. He needs a Drake. He needs a Future to be able to like get into that kind of conversation. Because I think over the past few years, one thing seems to be clear: on his own, Davido cannot crack the international market. I don't believe he can.
Why is Chris Brown not doing that for him though?
Why is Chris Brown not doing that for him? No, again, remember that Chris Brown is kind of like blacklisted on American radio because of his own issues. So Chris Brown is big internationally, but I do not believe that Chris Brown is big in the US. You understand? So you want somebody who is big right there in the US. And Chris Brown is not that person.
Interesting thoughts there. All right. Well, we need to call it a morning. Tayo says, is Chloe Bailey staying for Christmas in Lagos? You have to ask Bernard that one. I can't answer that question. You have to ask Bernard that question. I don't have an answer to. I don't have an answer to that one. Tayo, I beg you, don't get me in trouble on a Thursday morning. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me this morning as always. Where can all the amazing people connect with you guys on social media?
Yeah, Jame Silas is Jame Silas on social media as well. Instagram, X, Facebook. I'm even on LinkedIn. I'm just everywhere. If you holler at me, let me know you're from the grapevine. I'll holler back. Yeah.
Okay, so this Christmas, I would like very much if our listeners said Merry Christmas to me on Instagram. That would be Catchoris Gram, which is CATCHORIS Gram on Instagram, and Catchoris on both Facebook and on Twitter. Catchoris, CATCHORIS. But don't catch me on the road, Sha. But send me a message.
All right. Okay. I know we need to go, but I need to sneak this one in. Just to clarify here, Victor Sheon says Davido still has the most songs that will get Nigerians on their feet dancing. I won't argue with that, but we're talking about crossover to the international market.
That person is a fan. He's not listening to what he's just a fan of Davido.
All right, guys, have yourselves a great Thursday and a great weekend in prospect. And thank you all for sharing your messages and joining us on the Grapevine on a Thursday morning. Keep it tuned to the smoothest dial on radio, Smooth 98.1. There's more coming up as we journey along on a Thursday morning. Yeah, I've learned thus far that